June 1941. The German Panzer crews saw themselves as invincible masters of war. They believed their Soviet enemy was untermenschen, subhuman. But waiting for them in the dust was a machine that shouldn't exist, a tank that would shatter their arrogance and change the course of the war. This was the T-34 shock. June 22nd, 1941, 4:15 a.m. The border of Nazi-occupied Poland and the Soviet Union. You are Oberleutnant Markus Richter. You are 24 years old, and you are invincible. The air in your Panzer III is thick with the smell of hot steel, diesel fumes, and the sour sweat of your four-man crew. For the last hour, you've been waiting, engine idling, part of the endless, coiled snake column of Panzer Group II. This is the very tip of the spear of Army Group Center. To your left and right, hidden in the pre-dawn fog, are hundreds of tanks just like yours, Panzer IIIs, Panzer IVs, and your own beloved Panzer III OSF, H. You check your watch. 4:14. 1 minute. Your gunner, Klaus, a veteran who was with you in France, taps his steel gun sight. Anything, Herr Leutnant? Patience, Klaus, you murmur, not taking your eyes off the misty darkness. They are sleeping. The Untermenschen are sleeping. It's what you've been told. It's what you know. For weeks, the propaganda has been clear. The Soviet Union is a colossus with feet of clay, a rotten structure, racially inferior, led by incompetent Jewish commissars. Its army is a joke, its equipment ancient. You remember the newsreels from the Winter War against Finland, thousands of Russians, surrendering or frozen in the snow. You crushed Poland in weeks. You humiliated France, the supposed greatest army in Europe, in 6. You are a Panzer soldat in the Wehrmacht, the greatest fighting force the world has ever seen. This will be a parade. A single red flare arcs into the sky. 4:15. Forward, you say, into the throat mic. The entire world erupts. 1,000 artillery guns open up, a deafening rolling thunder that isn't just a sound but a physical concussion you feel in your teeth. Your driver, Hans, lurches the 21-ton tank forward. You crash through a flimsy wooden border gate. You are now in the Soviet Union. The first few hours are not a battle. They are a slaughter. The Soviet border guards are stunned, many still in their sleeping quarters. The artillery has shattered their command lines. You roll past burning wooden barracks, your machine gunner, Karl, hosing down the few men brave or foolish enough to shoot back. By 6, the sun is up, and you meet your first armor. Klaus's voice crackles over the intercom, sharp with contempt. Tank, 11 o'clock. T-26. Range, 800 meters. You spot it. It's a small, boxy thing, little more than a tractor with a gun, its rivets looking like crude stitching. Engage. The 50mm KK-38 cannon in your turret bucks with a sharp crack. The shell screams across the field. You don't even need the high-explosive round. The armor-piercing shell hits the T-26 inches, the turret, and the effect is instantaneous. It doesn't just penetrate, it punches through the thin steel, and the entire tank pops. A hatch flies 50 feet in the air, followed by a geyser of oily black flame. Target destroyed, Klaus says, already scanning for the next one. This is how it goes. You are the predator, they are the prey. You encounter a column of BT-7, fast tanks. They are fast, true, but their armor is paper. Your 50mm gun, designed to kill French heavy tanks, is massive overkill. You knock out 3 in 90 seconds. Your other platoon members get 2 more. The rest scatter, and your supporting Stuka dive bombers, the Jericho trumpets wailing, hunt them down in the fields. By noon on the 23rd, you haven't just crossed the border. You are 50 miles deep, you've refueled, rearmed, and are pushing for Minsk. The confidence in the tank is absolute. The crew is laughing, sharing cigarettes during a brief halt. You feel a sense of pity? No, not pity. Disgust. The propaganda was right. This is a subhuman army. Their equipment is junk. Their tactics are non-existent. A garbled message comes over the division radio, something from the 17th Panzer Division to your south. A warning about new tank models. The transmission is crackled and cut short. You dismiss it. What new model could they have? Another tractor with a bigger gun. On June 25th, near the town of Raseiniai, you are screening the flank for a column of infantry in half-tracks. Hans keeps the tank in a low gear, churning through the dusty road. It's hot. You have your hatch open, the smell of pine and diesel filling your nostrils. Then, you see it. It's sitting on a crossroads, blocking the path. It's big. But it's not a tank. Not one you recognize. It's low, angled, and looks almost unfinished. Crude, like it was hammered out of raw steel in a farm shed. It has no complex curves, no neat rivet patterns, just angles. Klaus, you say, your voice suddenly tight. What is that? I don't know, Herr Leutnant. It's not a T-26, not a BT. It's about 900 meters away. It hasn't seen you. Good. Put one right in its side. Armor piercing. Klaus lines up the shot. On the way. The 50mm gun cracks. You watch the tracer round streak across the field. And then something happens that you cannot process. The shell hits the side of the enemy tank, and it bounces off. It doesn't penetrate. It doesn't stick. It ricochets off the angled steel with a high-pitched zing and vanishes into the sky. Your entire crew is silent. What? Reload! You scream. He's still. Crack. Klaus fires again. Another hit. Another zing. The shell deflects up, harmlessly. The strange tank's turret, which seemed so crude, begins to turn. It moves not with a whine, but a low-pitched mechanical growl. A long, thick cannon swings around and points directly at you. Hans! Reverse! Get us in the trees! Now! But it's too late. You see a flash from the enemy's muzzle. You don't even hear the shot. The world just explodes. The sound is not a crack. It's a boom. It's not a 50mm shell. It's something bigger. The shell hits your platoon mate, Sergeant Steiner's Panzer III, which was 50 meters to your right. It doesn't just pop. The 76mm shell hits the Panzer's frontal armor and goes straight through it. It goes through the driver, through the engine block, and out the back, leaving a smoking, molten hole. The tank's entire turret is blasted clean off its ring and lands upside down in the dirt. You stare, frozen in your cupola. The 4 men you shared breakfast with are gone, vaporized. And the thing at the crossroads, the crude, ugly thing, simply waits. It is now turning its turret toward you. Reverse! Reverse! You scream into the mic, your voice cracking. Hans doesn't hesitate. He slams the Panzer III into reverse, the gears grinding in protest. The tank lurches backward, churning up dirt as you try to get behind the cover of the thin pine forest. The T-34 fires again. A massive whoosh passes just over your turret, the shockwave making the 21-ton Panzer rock. The shell explodes in the trees behind you, sending a shower of pine needles and razor-sharp splinters rattling against your hull. It's too fast, Herr Leutnant. Klaus yells from the turret, his eye still pressed to the sight. I can't get a lock. He's not talking about the gunner. He's talking about the tank. The crude, ugly thing is now moving. It doesn't just crawl. It bounds over the open field, its long cannon steady. It's charging your position. Karl, machine gun. Suppress the vision slits. Hans, hard right. Get us in the gully. Move. Move. Your orders are pure instinct. The training of the Panzertruppen clicks in, a desperate attempt to impose order on an impossible situation. The MG-34 chatters, spitting tracers at the advancing beast. They bounce off, a pathetic ping-ping-ping against the thunder of its engine. It's the engine you notice next. It's not the familiar, high-strung whine of a Maybach gasoline engine. It's a deep, guttural ROARR, a diesel, and its speed. It's crossing the 800-meter field in a time that seems impossible. You glance at your own speedometer as Hans crashes the tank through a line of saplings. You're doing 25 kilometers an hour over rough terrain. That thing is doing 40. It has no infantry. Your loader, Emil, says, his voice a whisper. Where are its supporting troops? It's alone. The realization hits you. It is alone. It doesn't need support. It is the breakthrough. He's trying to flank us, Klaus shouts. He's too fast. No. You counter-order, a desperate plan forming. He's not flanking us. We are flanking him. Hans, hard left. Back to the road. Gunner, traverse right. Find his rear armor. It must be weaker. It's the classic Wehrmacht doctrine. Superior training, superior tactics. Bewegungskrieg, war of movement. You will be faster, smarter. You will get behind it and put a shell in its engine. Hans executes the turn. The tank spins, treads digging deep. You burst back onto the road, the T-34 roaring past the gully you just left. For a second, you have it. You are on its side. A perfect 90-degree angle. Fire! You scream. Crack. The 50mm shell connects at 500 meters. A perfect hit. And it bounces. You watch in literal open-mouthed disbelief. The shell streaks away, tumbling into a field. The T-34's side armor is sloped, just like its front. Every surface is an angle. It's a shot trap by design. It's not just thick armor, it's smart armor. The T-34's turret, which had been facing forward, stops. And it begins to turn back towards you. No, not possible, Klaus whispers, his hands frozen on the traverse wheel. Forget the armor. You roar, pure panic setting in. Aim for the tracks. Immobilize it. Aim for the tracks. Track. Klaus fires again, a high explosive round this time. It explodes against the wide, flat tracks. The T-34 shudders, smoke obscuring the hit. Did we get it? Is it stopped? The smoke clears. The tank is still moving. The tracks, my God, the tracks. They are as wide as a man's chest. They are spread across a Christie suspension system, something you'd only read about in technical manuals. The mud-churning ground that would bog down your Panzer IVs, this thing just floats over it. The radio in your ear suddenly comes alive, not with calm divisional orders, but with a torrent of overlapping, terrified screams from other units. 3 of them. They went right through us. My 37mm. It's like throwing stones. Cannot penetrate. I repeat, cannot penetrate. Requesting air support. We have a T-34 at grid. It's not a KV-1. It's something else. It's so fast. T-34. The name is spoken like a curse. The enemy cannon flashes. This time, you don't feel lucky. The shell hits 20 meters in front of you, the explosion flipping a farm cart into the air. The T-34 has misjudged the range. He's adjusting. Klaus screams, "Hans, smoke! Now, deploy smoke!" Canisters fire from the side of your turret. In seconds, a thick white chemical cloud envelops your Panzer III. Full reverse. Get us out. Back to the rally point. Go. You don't wait to see if the T-34 follows. You retreat, blind, your 21-ton master of war running for its life from a single crude inferior Russian machine. You drive for a full 2 minutes, the acrid smoke filling your lungs, before you burst out into a clearing where the rest of your company is supposed to be. You find them, or what's left of them. 2 Panzer IIs are burning. A Panzer IV is sitting at a crazy angle, its entire side caved in. Your company commander, Hauptmann von Gerlach, is on foot, his black uniform torn, a pistol in his hand. He stares at you, his face pale and streaked with soot. "Richter," he yells, running over as you open the hatch. "Did you see it?" "We saw one," you say, your hands shaking so badly you can barely unclip your throat mic. It took 2 50mm rounds to the side and, "Hauptmann," they bounced off. Von Gerlach just nods, his eyes wide with a terrible new understanding. "The propaganda," he whispers. Not to you, but to the burning wreck of his command tank. It was all a lie. For an hour, you sit in the relative safety of the rear echelon, a hasty lager formed by trucks, half-tracks, and the few surviving Panzers. The air is foul with the smell of burning diesel, scorched paint, and something else, something sweet and coppery you try not to identify. You and your crew are on the ground, leaning against your tank's still-hot hull. Emil, your loader, is chain-smoking, his hands still black with powder. Hans is just staring at his boots, silent. Klaus, the gunner, is the only one talking. He's whispering, as if afraid the enemy will hear him. It wasn't just sloped, Herr Leutnant. It was welded. I saw the weld seams. They were crude, but solid. Not riveted like our eyes. One solid piece of angled steel. And the engine? Hans says, finally looking up. The smoke was black. It's a diesel. We run on gasoline. One good hit, and we're an oven. That thing, it's safer. You nod. You'd noticed that too. And the wide tracks. Your own narrow Ketten were designed for the roads of France. These Russian steppes weren't roads. They were a sea of mud, dust, and grass. Your tanks were built for a different war. This T-34, was built for this land. Your commander, Hauptmann von Gerlach, is at the radio set on his command vehicle, arguing. I tell you, Major, the Pak 36 is useless. They are calling it a door knocker. It knocks, and the T-34 doesn't even answer. Yes, even the 50mm. Send us the 88 seconds. I don't care if they're Flak. We need them. We need them now. He slams the handset down and sees you. Richter. You stand and salute, your body aching. Yes, Herr Hauptmann. The generals, our masters of war, they are in shock, he says, with a bitter laugh. General Guderian himself has been to the front. He is displeased. An Oberstleutnant lieutenant, colonel from divisional intelligence, a man with a clean uniform and a leather briefcase, strides over. He looks at you with cold, analytical eyes. You are the crew that made contact and escaped? Yes, Herr Oberstleutnant, you reply. Describe the weapon. You do. You describe the speed. The low-slung, angled hull, the long cannon, the impossible way your 50mm rounds bounced off its hide. The colonel scoffs, but his eyes are nervous. This is Untermensch technology. It is a bluff. They must have copied it from the American designer, Christie. The Bolshevik is an ape. He can only imitate. He cannot innovate. You want to scream. You want to grab him and drag him to the burning wreck of Steiner's Panzer. Is that a copy? Is that an imitation? But you hold your tongue. With respect, Herr Oberstleutnant, Klaus interjects, his voice shaking. An ape did not build that. It is a perfect killing machine. It is crude where it can be crude, and it is a work of genius where it matters. The gun, the armor, the speed. The colonel is about to reply when a Stuka pilot, his face grim, joins the group. Forget it, Colonel, the pilot says, wiping oil from his face. We can't kill them from the air either. I put a 50-kilo bomb right next to one. It shrugged and kept driving. They are everywhere. This whole front, it's a problem. The T-34 shock is no longer a secret. It's the only topic of conversation. The entire doctrine of blitzkrieg was built on the superiority of your panzers. On the Panzer keel, the armoured wedge, smashing through weak defences. But what happens when the wedge hits an anvil? What happens when the inferior race produces a superior tank? A new report comes over the radio. A full Soviet company, a dozen T-34 seconds, has broken through the 18th Panzer's flank and is heading for a key bridge. Von Gerlach looks at the colonel. Well, your apes are about to cut off our entire battle group. The colonel looks pale. Where? He asks the radio operator. Is the nearest 88mm flak battery? The radio operator's reply is chilling. They were overrun, sir, by T-34 seconds. This is the new reality. The infantry's 37mm anti-tank gun is a joke. Your Panzer's 50mm cannon is a frustration. The only weapon in the entire German arsenal that can reliably kill a T-34 at combat range is the 8.8cm Flak 36, an anti-aircraft gun, a sledgehammer, and it's the only tool you have. The order comes down the line. All 88mm batteries are to be pulled from air defense duty and moved to the front line. They are to become the new anti-tank screen. Richter, von Gerlach says, his voice low. I have a new order for you, not from the colonel, from me. He points to a map. A Flak 88 is setting up a new kill zone here. But we don't just need to kill these things. We need to understand them. The next time you see one, I don't want you to run. You want me to fight it, Herr Hauptmann? No, von Gerlach says, his eyes dark. I want you to lure it. I want you to be the bait. You are going to draw one of those monsters into a trap. We need one intact. You look at your crew, at Hans, who is now visibly trembling, at Klaus, who is staring at his useless gun sight. You are no longer invincible. You are no longer the predator. You are a goat, being tied to a stake, to lure a tiger. Getting back into the Panzer III is different this time. Before, it was an act of aggression. You were sealing yourself inside a predator's shell. Now, as the heavy steel hatch clangs shut, it feels like closing the lid on your own coffin. The air is the same stale, metallic, but the mood is heavy with a new, cold dread. Hans, you say into the mic, your voice much calmer than you feel. We are going to move southeast, along this road. We will act as a reconnaissance screen. We are looking for contact. Hans just nods, his knuckles white on the driving levers. He knows what contact means. Klaus, you continue, load armor-piercing, but you do not fire unless I give the order, and when I give the order, you will aim for the thickest part of the hull. Klaus looks at you through the dark, cramped turret. But Herr Leutnant, that will just bounce. It will do nothing. Exactly, you say. It will do nothing except make it angry. That is the plan. You roll out. Your Panzer III, once the symbol of the Blitzkrieg, feels thin, brittle. The 21 tons of steel feel like tinfoil. Every shadow in the woods looks like a low-slung hull. Every distant rumble of artillery sounds like that one, specific, terrifying diesel roar. You are the bait. For 20 minutes, you see nothing. Just the endless rolling Russian landscape, dotted with burning farmhouses and the discarded junk of the retreating Red Army. You almost allow yourself to hope. Maybe they've pulled back. Maybe the problem has moved to another sector. Then you see it. It's emerging from a small village, driving through a 2-story wooden house as if it were a cardboard box. The building simply disintegrates. A second T-34 follows it. 2 of them. You stop the tank. Your heart is a cold stone in your chest. They haven't seen us. Emil whispers, his voice reedy. Range, 1,200 meters. Klaus reports, his voice robotic. They are just sitting there. This is it. You are 2,000 meters from the hidden 88mm gun, which is dug in on the reverse slope of a ridge behind you. You have to pull these 2 monsters, these tigers, across that entire field and into the trap. Klaus, you say, your mouth dry. Target the lead tank. Fire 1 round. Then, Hans, the second you hear that gunfire, I want you in reverse, full speed, back to that ridge. Do not wait. Do not turn. Just go. Is that clear? Yes, Herr Leutnant, Hans replies. Klaus, fire. The 50mm cannon CRACKS, a sound that now seems small and pathetic. You watch the tracer streak across the field. It hits the T-34's angled frontal plate, ZIIING. The shell, as predicted, ricochets harmlessly into the sky, a spark in the afternoon sun. For 1 agonizing second, nothing happens. The 2 T-34 seconds just sit there. Then, both turrets, in near-perfect unison, snap towards your position. They saw the muzzle flash. Hans, reverse! You scream. Boom, boom! 2 76mm shells tear the air where you were just sitting. They explode on the road, creating a crater that would have swallowed your tank whole. Hans is a master. He's already 50 meters back, the Panzer III's engine screaming in its highest gear as he floors it in reverse. They're coming! Klaus yells, his eye still pressed to the sight, watching the horror unfold. My God, they are fast. You risk a look out the cupola's vision slit. The 2 T-34 seconds are charging, side by side, kicking up massive plumes of dust. They aren't maneuvering. They aren't being tactical. They are just coming. It's a cavalry charge, an act of pure, arrogant, overwhelming power. Hans, keep going. Don't let them get a side shot. Another whoosh as a shell passes overhead. They are firing on the move. They are accurate on the move. Your own panzers have to stop to fire accurately. This is impossible. This changes everything. 500 meters to the ridge, Hans shouts, his voice strained. They're gaining. It's true. The diesel engines are roaring. You can hear them now, even inside your own tank, over the sound of your own engine. It's a deep, terrifying wail that promises death. Klaus, fire again. Keep them focused on us. Make them think we're fighting. Crack. Klaus fires blind over the rear deck. The shell bounces off the second T-34's turret. It doesn't even slow it down. Wham! A shell hits your tank. It's not a direct, penetrating hit. It's a glancing blow off the turret's side. But the force, the sheer kinetic energy, is like being hit by a freight train. The entire tank is thrown sideways. Emil is screaming. The inside of the turret fills with the ping of spalled steel, tiny fragments of your own armor flying around the cabin like shrap T-34. We're hit! We're hit! Are we mobile? You yell, ignoring the ringing in your ears. Hans, are we mobile? Yes, still moving. 100 meters to the ridge. Go. You are now in the kill zone. The 88mm crew, hidden just over that rise, must be watching. They must be. The lead T-34 is now only 300 meters behind you. It's so close you can see the crude, patriotic slogan painted on its turret. It slows, stopping to line up the kill shot. Hans, hard right, zigzag. You brace for the impact. This is it. He's got you. And then, a new sound. A sound you have never heard in combat. It is not a crack. It is not a boom. It is an unearthly, ripping sound, like the sky itself is being torn in half. SSSHHHHHHWAK. It is the sound of an 8.8 centimeter shell, fired at over 840 meters per second. You watch, stunned, through your vision slit. The lead T-34, the one that was about to kill you, its turret disappears. It doesn't just get hit. The entire 15-ton turret is lifted from its ring and thrown 30 feet into the air, spinning like a coin. The chassis, the moment the turret is gone, erupts in a 40-foot pillar of white-hot flame as the ammunition inside detonates. One shot, one kill. The second T-34, seeing its companion vaporized by an invisible force, does something you've never seen a Russian tank do. It stops. It hesitates. And it starts to reverse. Radio! You scream to your operator. Tell the 88. Traverse left. Second target. Range 400. Fire. SSSHHHHHWAK. The second shot is just as final. It hits the T-34's frontal slope. But the 88's tungsten core round doesn't care about slopes. It doesn't ricochet. It punches straight through the 45mm of impenetrable armor, through the crew, and through the engine block. For a full 30 seconds, there is only silence. The T-34 just sits there, smoke pouring from the neat, round hole in its hull. It's over. You, the bait, are still alive. The tigers are dead. The silence in your Panzer III is absolute. It's broken only by the hiss of the radio and the sound of your own, ragged breathing in the throat mic. Klaus, you start, but you can't find the words. I'm all right, Herr Leutnant, he says, his voice a full octave higher than normal. Emil is, I think he's vomited. You can smell it now, the sour tang of bile mixing with the gunpowder and hot metal. The adrenaline is gone, leaving a deep, violent tremor in your hands. You've been hunted. You've been run to ground, and you only survived because a bigger, hidden predator was on your side. The radio crackles. It's Hauptmann von Gerlach. Richter, report. Are you functional? Functional, Herr Hauptmann, you managed to say. Turret has a glancing hit. We are shaken. But we are green. Good. Von Gerlach's voice is tight with relief. Cease your advance. We are moving up to your position. Hold the ridge. Well done, son. Well done. You open the hatch. The fresh air is a slap in the face. It's filled with the smell of burning oil and... Is that diesel? You climb out, your legs weak and slide to the ground. Your crew follows, no one speaking. Hans just sits on the dirt, his head in his hands. 50 meters away, the first T-34 is an inferno. The turret, all 15 tons of it, is lying upside down, a black smoking piece of scrap. But the second T-34, it's just sitting there. It's dead. A thin wisp of smoke curls from the neat 88mm hole in its frontal plate. Von Gerlach's half-track roars up, followed by the intelligence colonel's Kubelwagen. The 88mm gun crew, the saviors, are already emerging from their dirt embankment, looking like ghosts covered in dust. My God, von Gerlach says, walking past you and approaching the dead T-34. He has his pistol out. The colonel is right behind him, his notebook already in hand. You follow, along with Klaus. You are a predator, inspecting your kill, but you feel like a scavenger. You get close, and the shock is greater than in the battle. The colonel runs a gloved hand over the hull. Look at this, he says with open contempt. The welds, they are disgusting. A child could do better. Look at the gaps. It's agricultural. He's right. It's not the clean, precise, riveted armor of your Panzer. The steel plates are crudely joined. The weld seams are bubbly, uneven, and look like they were done in a barn. But, Herr Oberstleutnant, Klaus says, his voice hushed. He reaches out and touches the armor. It's all one piece. It's welded, not riveted. A hit won't shear the rivets and send them through the crew. This is better. The colonel glares at him. You walk around to the front. The 88mm shell hit the 45mm frontal plate, but the plate itself is sloped back at a 60-degree angle. You do the math in your head. 60 degrees. That gives it an effective armor thickness of over 90mm. Your 50mm gun was never going to penetrate that. It was designed to fail. They sacrificed craftsmanship for an angle, the colonel mutters, scribbling in his notebook. A typical peasant's trade-off. Crude, inelegant. It worked, you say. The colonel's head snaps up, but von Gerlach silences him with a look. A Sturmpioniere combat engineer runs up with a crowbar, and after checking for booby traps, pries open the driver's hatch. Von Gerlach motions for you. Richter, you're a tanker. What do you see? You climb onto the hull. The smell of diesel is overwhelming. You shine your flashlight into the crew compartment, and you can't believe it. Where is the radio? You ask. No radio for the commander, Herr Leutnant, Klaus says, peering over your shoulder. Look, 2-man turret. The commander. He's the gunner. You stare. It's true. The tank commander has to find targets, aim the gun, fire the gun, and command the tank. It's insane. It's hopelessly inefficient. Your own Panzer III has a 3-man turret, a dedicated commander who can think, a gunner who can aim, and a loader who can load. And look, the colonel says, almost triumphant, pointing inside. The ammunition, it's just stacked on the floor, no proper armored bins. The optics are they from a submarine? They are garbage. He's right. The interior is a nightmare. It's cramped. There is no padding, no ergonomics, no thought whatsoever given to the crew's comfort or efficiency. The colonel snaps his notebook shut. This is it. This is their miracle weapon. A crude, inefficient, tactically bankrupt machine. They are animals, as we thought. They force their crews to fight in these coffins. They are incapable of complex design. It's just a tractor with a field gun strapped on top. He seems pleased. He has his answer. The inferior. Russians are inferior. But you are not looking at the cramped turret. You are not looking at the bad optics. You are looking at the weld seams. You are looking at the diesel engine. You are looking at the wide tracks. And you finally understand. The colonel is a fool. He's seeing all the things the T-34 is not. You are seeing what it is. The Germans couldn't build this tank, not because it's too complex, but because it's too simple. German engineering would never allow a tank to leave the factory with such crude welds. German command would never approve a design that treated its crew as expendable. The Russians have sacrificed crew efficiency. They've sacrificed craftsmanship. They've sacrificed comfort. And in exchange, they have built a tank with a massive gun, impenetrable sloped armor, and a fast, reliable engine. They have only focused on the three things that win battles. And the worst part, the part that makes your blood run cold, is that a tank, this crude, this simple, this barbaric, can be built by the thousands. You are standing on a machine that was not built by inferiors. It was built by a pragmatic, ruthless enemy, one that does not care about rules or comfort or how a tank is supposed to be made. And you realize, in that single horrifying moment, your superior panzers are doomed. You are fighting a philosophy, and you have just seen the future.